Okay, this appears to be working. Working very well. No more hiccups and audio issues from this point on, as it should be. is good now. Yes, I believe it is good. Everything has been remedied. You see what you're supposed to see, aside from the little bit of lag there. This problem just fixated on a window that had been closed for like 5 minutes, but whatever. Not a big deal. You should all go to this channel and watch everything they've posted. It's probably some of the best archiving of cinema ever done, and it's for free. You don't have to pay for it. Okay, how was that for an intro? I thought it was pretty good. A little bit of vintage mood music. Well, to any of you Mac users that ever intend to record what you do on your computer or live stream, don't even think about using OBS because that shit is fucking irrelevant. There's a vastly superior alternative. And I mean vastly. Like, not even close. It's no contest. It's not 5-4, it's 100-0. By the way, young eye, Hollow Gonzalo, for some retarded reason, bothered to DM me this morning or last night, inquiring about what I thought of the review, analysis, discussion of the film Obsession that apparently took place between you and him and other people. I really didn't care to watch it, no offense. Maybe I will someday. I've seen the movie. I just think it's overhyped. uh, like I just, given the amount of money and attention it made, that's where I would say it's overrated. Um, but I still think it's a competently made movie. It's coming from a place of creative spark and focus. Um, it's very intentional. It takes some risks. Um, Pretty good looking film, front to back. Uh, you can tell that they squeeze out every little penny, every penny allotted to the production. Um, it's a bit reminiscent of uh, like early Wes Craven, early John Carpenter, perhaps a little bit of Hitchcock in there, a little bit of David Lynch, a little bit of, you know, a little bit of the masters. Point is, I think that a writer director kid, like, he seems to know what he's doing. Um, yeah, okay. The problem with enabling hardware acceleration is, for some reason, that wasn't an option. Like, I was looking at all the settings, and there was no such option there. You can get a good feel on what they're going to Astro. Yeah, of course you can. There's a time and a place for observing the landscape of what sells, what gets attention. I may be very lukewarm on the work itself, the products themselves. I'm more intellectually interested in what it means in the grand scheme, like, if it's indicative of a trend that we're about to see. Given the amount of money that Obsession and Backrooms have made, it has, I know for a fact that it has caused producers and uh, bagel executives in the Hollywood system to scramble and look for source material and IPs that come from the internet. You know, they're like urban legends. Nobody has a real copyright to them. They're trying to capitalize on this as much as they can. How successful will it be? Um, don't know. My gut tells me it won't be. It won't be like a wave of inspired work. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Just because of the confines of the Hollywood system. I mean, just the nature of what's going to get funding and who has creative control. It's just my hypothesis. And today's a Sunday. I think people are out doing stuff. I mean, technically, I'm supposed to be out doing stuff, but I'm not. I mean, I will soon, soonish. But I wanted to figure this out. I wanted to figure out this streaming, the live streaming question. Took a fair amount of effort, uh, in me doing homework. But here we are. I mean, here we are. It's actually fucking working. Neural pillars in the chat. What's up? What's up, man? You know what passion project, uh, Dash, uh, I'm, I'm not your employee. I'm not your significant other. Do you think it matters at all when you are wage slaving? I'll stream whenever I want to stream, pal. If you have an issue with that, uh, too fucking bad. Why would you even be in this live chat? Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, so a passion project, a pet project, really. Not a big one. There's something going around on TikTok and even YouTube. Uh, oh, what's up, disgraced liberal? We're getting some good weather here where we're at, aren't we? It's been really pleasant the last couple days. The new setup is great. Great so far. I don't hear my own voice. Audio from Discord and any other, source that has audio is going through, from what I can tell. Um, yeah, so these drill edit things, the concept of it is pretty cool. But the way drill edits, most of them are made, just everything about them. The clips from from the movies, the song choice, the aspect ratio. It's not really my cup of tea. But what I would do is I would do a long version of that. Like, instead of it being 30, 40, 45 seconds, it'd be a couple minutes, and it would be in a cinematic aspect ratio. What's funny, Neuropillars, Bash and I, we're not even compatriots. We're not associates. He's just a guy here on the internet, and from his perspective, I'm just a guy here on the internet that he happened to cross paths with. Yeah, I mean, I was compiling some stills and things like that. Some song choices yesterday. You know, for what I would slap together. Hopefully in the near-ish future. Yeah, the rain that we got, I mean, it was stormy here in the part of the state that I'm in, which isn't that far from you, disgraced liberal. Like it was like proper Seattle, weather in just about every sense. Like it was wet, it was humid, not super windy, lots of clouds, very faint sun in the distance. On the real thing, like I'm surprised that given that it's some kind of a showcase or yeah, that's a good word for it. It's like a showcase for whiteness and European heritage, which hasn't really been a thing in American culture for quite some time. The fact that it's happening, that these youngsters are doing it, like that is a bit of a white pill. But I don't know if it's coming from like a place of them having that kind of heritage and they're conscious of what they're doing and why they're making these real edits, or I don't know what the psychology behind it is. Um, so I don't know if it's truly a white pill. I could not tell you. Um, let's see. I'm gonna play. Hold on a second. Yeah, so as far as like the score, sound design for a good real edit, one that doesn't feel canned. I was dicking around in Audacity the other day. This is one I'll probably stick with this. I might slow it down or pitch it down a little bit, but this captures the right this captures the right sensation, the right atmosphere for Vril edit. I'm gonna play this. Hold on a second. I really hope I don't. This better not be a copyright problem. It shouldn't be. if that's too loud, just right. I don't know. Yeah. As far as imagery goes, '70s to '80s. Yeah, I wanted something vintage, but since you can't, you know, like it's unintelligible. The chick singing has unusual singing voice. Like it feels very mysterious and archaic and magical. Thought it was very fitting. Have you guys seen this before? Are you familiar with this rock? This is apparently one of the oldest, I don't know if saying the word here on stream is going to do anything. Let's just call it a sun wheel because that's a legit alternative name for it. This is one of the oldest sun wheels ever found anywhere. This was discovered in Denmark. They say that it's dated to like circa 800 or 900 AD ish. There's not many good photos of this though. There's only like a few that are like very in focus and you know, high res. But this is a close. Like I'll show you what the rest of the stone looks like. I'm gonna turn this this down just a little bit. It's like 30% volume, roughly. Yeah, no, this is actually pretty interesting. This whole Snoldolift stone situation. So this sun wheel is off to the side, you know, and the rest of the design has hang on, you're about to see. You're about to see. There we go. Yeah, so it's out here on the left side, and then the remainder of the stone has this on it. Didn't even realize. Oh, here we go. This image is so big that it the only reason it's this size is because the original was, yeah, alright. The original was small and I I upscaled this just so I could be seen better. But yeah, no, this is apparently one of the oldest, if not the oldest, instances of someone making a quote unquote sun wheel. We all know the real word, but YouTube is probably gonna flip shit. Their little AI bots, their little AI agents hear you saying the word. Kind of like the same deal with saying the C word. And by C word, I'm talking about the man-made disease that doesn't exist within various human populations around the world. Yeah. Isn't this neat? Isn't this cool, y'all? Okay, that's enough of chopped and screwed Cocteau Twins. That's who's performing and who wrote that song, by the way. Great band, awesome band. Probably one of the best I've ever seen in terms of just songwriting, vocals, how well they played live, stage presence. Cocteau Twins are legendary, and they're not a band anymore, so there's not any tours or new albums to buy. Not Koof, not that. The disease I was referring to is much more serious. Usually, when people get it, they don't recover. It's terminal, does terrible things to you. A lot of people die from it in America and Canada, like a lot of people. Um, the rate of C patients, compared to when you look at like the 80s and the 90s and compared to the 2010s, like that's a short amount of time that went by, and yet the number of cases was is exponentially higher. Just insane rates of growth. Right, young eye. That is what I'm referring to. They even found in Budapest. They even found within a bunch of rubble after they did a demolition on some old house or building. They found some kind of a pendant that's obviously very old. Let me bring that up. Let me bring that sheet up. Got all these images on here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, they found this in Budapest. Don't know how old it is, but it's got to be ancient at this point. Very old. your zodiac sign. Uh, yeah, no, like, see, these are some of the images I would include um, in a real edit. Like, I'm surprised that people haven't already done something like that. Instead, people love taking, clips from something like Excalibur, Kingdom of Heaven, Lord of the Rings, The Northman, the Vikings TV show, The Witcher TV show. Like, I mean, yeah, it works. It works for something like a real edit, but it's just something that everybody does. It's kind of funny how you know, I made an image of black pills, like that's like the baseline image for the stream. I haven't even been talking about the black pill stuff. I guess at this point, it's just part of the brand. It wouldn't be a proper live stream without some imagery like that. Let's see. All right. I don't know if anyone here caught the Celtic Cat stream last night, but it was easily one of the best live streams he's ever coordinated. I mean, it happened to feature Western Decline, and whenever Western Decline is really on a stream, like uh, it basically becomes his stream, even if it's not his channel or he didn't organize it. Like there's just he has, he has some kind of a knack, a sixth sense, um, for live streaming. Even when he's just talking about himself, uh, one of the things that makes him so compelling is, even when he is really just talking about him and his plight, you kind of can't help but use that as some kind of an ideological launching pad to arrive at the black pill conclusions. The fact that somebody like him exists, um, I mean, that's a black pill right there. Someone like him being in the situation that he's in. If anything, that vindicates so much shit that's been said. So many, the hypotheses put forward by people in this sphere, this part of the internet. And I can even look at myself and use use it as evidence in the same vein, but people are going to hand wave that and say it's bias. So I try to look at other people, try to look at someone like him or Collective Dismal, of Dustin Clay. Not I was going to say DBDR, but not really him. Just because DBDR is debilitated and he would have been he would have been troubled and he would have been an inkwell no matter when and where he was born because of the you know the disease that he has. It's that combined with his personality, I just don't think it would be in the cards for him in any society. I'm being realistic. I'm not. I don't have a problem with DBDR. I'd actually kind of like. It'd be cool to talk to him. I did have a discussion with Dark Cell, and going into that, I had reservations. But Dark Cell was pleasant to chat with. He was very receptive to what I was talking about. Sadly, he's done though. Dark Cell's out of the picture. He kind of rage quit the whole black pill thing. He just doesn't have an interest in being a part of that. He does have a server. It's obviously a black pill tilted server, and he still wants to. It's so funny is these people like him or First from Insomatics, like as much as they want to leave it behind, they just can't. Like I remember when First packed it up in January of 2022, and then by September of that same year, he was back on the internet talking to Mystery School, and it was a pretty good dialogue that he had going, like, and then fast forward a few months, First collaborated with Thomas White multiple times, and it's I mean it's mandatory viewing. If you care about this stuff, if it concerns you at all. First is a very rational guy. He's someone who, like Western Decline or Dismal or Rob Dustin Clay, he's someone that really shouldn't have ever been an incel. Oh, oops, I fucked that up. First is not someone who should have been an inkwell. Um, it's just wrong. The fact that someone like that would spend years of their youth living like that, that's a testament to the failing of something above them. In some cases, it's really just the person's family. Sometimes it's something else. Can be a combination of those things. Let's see. Uh, those who wouldn't, those who shouldn't be in the positions they are always give the most interesting insights. Yeah, typically that's what happens. That's what I've noticed within the space is like the best people, the people who go public. They tend to be characters who, for some reason, like they don't really fit into clown world, but they still can fit into clown world. Like someone like Collective Dismal is by all means a neurotypical person. and he wages and does all the stuff that normal people do. Um, I don't think it's hard for him, but at the same time, he just something about his personality, his mind, like it makes him incompatible internally speaking, and that's what leads to the person becoming a dissident. They're interested in an alternative explanation for what they're seeing and experiencing. Um, right, yeah, Dismal's correct about that. See, that's what I've been saying for such a long time. So I remember in 2021 when Insomatics was still active. I I remember joining his server on Discord. It was called the Man Moon Network. Pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore. And I expected this place to be a big plaza, a big forum of just competent people, rational people. The reason why I assume that is because they're they're composing the audience of Insomatics. If you're watching stuff like that and you actually understand what the guy is saying, then surely you're not a retard. But I go into this place and lo and behold, many of them were quite, to be frank, they were retards. Um, they were too addled by the face and LMS rehab room garbage. There's too much lookism stuff. Or I shouldn't say lookism. It's really more just Chad theory, like SMV theory, ego psych. Um, those are things that are downstream from ego psych, more or less. And I was in a VC, and like these people are just like they're kind of interrogating me. They're not really saying anything about themselves, but they're asking me personal questions. But I didn't really mind answering them. And like one guy who was a major voice cell, um, he was like, "So how incel are you? How over is it for you?" I said, "Well, um, I know what it's like to kiss a girl. I know what it's like for a girl to want that from you. Uh, I don't know what romance or any of the good stuff feels like because that was never something on the table. I know what some of the carnal pleasure, perhaps. I know to a degree what that feels like, and it's quite overrated. And this guy begins, he and others in that VC, they start like saying, "You're a fake cell. You're a fake cell. You don't belong here." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, first of all, what does Black Pill have to do? Like, since when was there a requirement to learn about this stuff? Since when was there a requirement that says you need to be a permavirgin or a subhuman? Like that's utterly illogical. There's no there like I mean the reality itself certainly doesn't work that way. You can begin having black pill realizations when you're a very good looking man, a tall man, a high status man, virtually any type of man is going to have a reason to think about this stuff, as really all men are just targets. They're marks of the system. So where do you consider yourself on the sphere or spectrum? Yeah, I mean, so by definition, neuropillar, I and so many other people around here are neurotypical. They absolutely are. A therapist or, you know, someone in that field who stands to make a buck by getting someone to believe that they're neurodivergent and putting them on pills is going to disagree with me. It's funny since I'm pretty sure we talked about the same exact thing in DMs. Yeah, we probably have disgraced liberal. There's a good variety of subjects that we've covered. Basically, indirect clavicular idol. There's a lot of that going on right now. It's very low tier to say lookism or chat theory is correct because of case in point clavicular. All clavicular is proving is dashboard. I mean, he's clavicular is what? He's at least 6 feet tall. He's uh he is a good-looking guy. He's got youth on his side. Admittedly, I think his face card it comes from some surgeries that he received, so I don't think he's naturally that good-looking. Um, it's useful that he streams these interactions with girls because it just vindicates dashboard. Like looks aren't the currency that people that come to this place think that they are. They're just not. Clavicular is he's he's seen as like a shiny trinket in the eyes of women, and I've noticed that he doesn't even get with particularly attractive girls. Where he easily shut down. Yeah, that was in Wolf's server. I think that okay, from what I can tell, that guy who was going on about it, he sounded like a rookie. He sounded like he was very, very new to the space and just hadn't really explored. It's always a purity test. I mean, illegitimately, it ends up being one, which bothers me. Like, if I'm gonna be talking to someone in VC about this stuff, I obviously would want them to put their cards on the table, and I don't mind putting mine on the table. And like, even if they're a different race and they're much shorter and they haven't kissed a girl or something, like everything about them, everything about their location, personality, where they went to school. Okay, all that stuff is relevant. All that are data points that need to be collected. The only way guys who are curious about this shit are going to get to the bottom of the problem and circumnavigate the equation. The only way to do that is to compare notes, gather as much data as you can directly from men, and it needs to be all kinds of men. It needs to be all types. It needs to be you have to factor in everything. You need to categorize race, age range, height, looks level more or less. You know, are they a normie? Are they above average? Are they below average? Location, like all that matters a great deal. Like I really don't care if someone is in fact an inkwell or not. Like I mean, if they want to discuss the black pill, then so be it. Hopefully they can learn something from me, and by them being forthcoming, I can learn something from them. Yeah, this is more scientific, like completely. Um, I my whole approach with this thing, and it's not just mine. I mean, it's also First of Insomatics and Dashboard and Western Decline. We've all independently realized that the only way to make the discourse any good, to make it worthwhile at all, to inject any veracity into it, the only way to do this is by taking everything we've seen ourselves, um, and congregating with all the other guys who have that self-awareness. Like we need to do side by sides, like we have to see if there's any contrast between things like race and looks level and height and all that stuff. From where I sit, race is way more powerful than whether you're a subhuman, a normie, or a Chad. Race is so powerful. Race is it's insane. Uh what a Mexican guy or a black guy or an Indian guy who's similar to me in terms of SMV and height. It is mind blowing to see what on average these three archetypes are able to get from white women, specifically white women. Like even though I've known about this stuff for years, I mean it's been a long time. It's been almost 7 years. Like when I do uh, go out in public and it's busy and like there's a lot of people around, like I do make a point to just to stop what I'm doing and stay put in an area where lots of people are passing by, because it like every time I do that, it's fascinating. It's so mind blowing. It's like watching a hurricane or a huge tornado tear through something. Like you're you're just in awe of the destruction. Race, I mean, race and the black pill. The RQ and what it has to do with the black pill discourse. That has only come up like very recently and been hammered on a lot, thanks to mainly Dashboard, but then Thomas White and Western and Dismal kind of took it the rest of the way. Like people in this community for so long, they would talk about race and they would just say JBW, but they were talking about race within the context of the black pill so incorrectly. It was absolutely nuts how wrong they were. They had it completely upside down. JBW is something that exists not really in the United States. Like JBW is a thing in a place like Colombia, Costa Rica, Brazil, perhaps China, Japan. JBW is not going to help you here where I am. It's not going to help you in New York City. It's not going to help you in Chicago. It's not going to help you in Seattle. It's not going to help you in LA. It's not going to help you with any of these major metropolitan areas or suburbia. If I had to pick a group, a race of males who on average are not truly inkwell and disenfranchised from their dating market, if I had to pick one who's noticeably doing better than the others, like it's probably Mexicans. It's probably the Hispanics. I'm very compelled to say that it's them. So really, it's not JBW, it's JBH. But even then, it's not. People are going to misunderstand that. They're going to think it's like gravity, and that being Hispanic is a get out of jail free card. Oh, not necessarily. JBH just means that the odds of you seriously being an inkwell are drastically lower than some white boy that's in your same age bracket. That's all that it means. Ogre maxing is a legit option. Yeah, that's a dashboard as dashboardy in Blackville. Yeah, ogre maxing or being some kind of a fop. You're a very approachable, safe, looking guy that even if that doesn't get you girls, that's still pretty favorably received. That's received pretty well, I would say, within the current social zeitgeist. Like white guys who are shredded and just have a certain physiognomy about them, where they look something about them. Like you get this sensation that they have classically masculine virtues or something like that. Just is not put on a pedestal. Guys like that who want to fare well in the dating market and socially, they really have to comport themselves in such a way to help their optics. You knew I was gonna say Latin. Yeah, I mean, just because for so many years, like that group has demonstrated what is seemingly like very you know optimal gender dynamics and like a culture that tries to pair people up early on, and like there's this conscious effort being made by the parents, where they don't want their daughter being a boss bitch and they don't want their son being an inkwell. Sam Hyde does want money. At least Sam Hyde is at least Sam Hyde is funny. At least like he's watchable. Yeah, so like the number of Hispanic guys who they're much shorter than me, they're much fatter than me, they're less in terms of SMV, they're certainly lower than me. Not that I'm way up there. But according to like the PSL people, they would say that I mog these guys, these Mexican boys who do better in the dating market. And okay, that may be true in like a universal aesthetic sense. Perhaps I do. Perhaps I am head and shoulders more physically appealing in a conventional sense. However, it's meaningless when they're the ones who are doing well and I'm the one who just gets ignored and passed over. I mean, women in general uh, are doing their own thing. They think men are pretty annoying. Um, Women usually make me feel like a stray dog. And that goes for so many other white guys that aren't ugly. They're not fat. They're not short. Like so many of them are in that boat. It's too bad that I didn't have all this set up, you know, last night because I foolishly trusted OBS yet again, but for the last time. Uh, yeah, because we had a good discussion about about a very seedy kind of low budget British movie from 50 years ago. It's like a revenge tale. Stars Michael Caine. It's very get in, get out. It's not ostentatious or stylish, but it still has like a visual language to it. It's a neat little movie. I was happy to revisit it. The remake of Get Carter is pretty. I don't know. It's pretty toothless of a film. Chud the Builder, I'm assuming, lasted so long because he's a unit. Chud the Builder looks like a unit. Um, yeah, I really didn't even understand, like, why would Hollywood back in 1999, why would they want to remake that? It's not like it was a famous movie. It wasn't like there was, yeah. Um, don't really understand the move that was made by the producers there. The Speaking of remakes, specifically within the Hollywood system, the remakes for some reason of John Carpenter's movies they're so bad. Like like the Fog remake is just I mean, there's no reason with that kind of budget that it needed to be that not scary and incompetent. The Assault on Precinct 13 remake, um, it has this diversified cast, and that's just crass um, marketing and whatnot on the studio and like the producer's part. But I mean, that was still like a competent movie. Like they took the story and kind of reinvigorated it and changed the characterization a bit. But really, I prefer the original Assault on Precinct 13. I prefer the original Halloween, obviously. Um, the Rob Zombie one definitely gets it's a divisive movie. Yeah, Carpenter had a very not a pleasant career trying to work within the system. Like his early stuff, they're indie productions. Um, like Escape from New York was still pretty much a that was a small time thing. Um, so was The Fog, but like the success, I mean, that's what got him his first studio like big boy project, which was The Thing, and people don't realize that that film was a remake. Um, that was his first actual like studio legacy studio job, but it was critically panned. It didn't make money. Uh, he couldn't get work for some time. Like he went on to direct Christine. which was a studio picture, and he directed Starman, also a studio picture. Um, but they weren't like these big hits. Like he ultimately reverted back to indie filmmaking in the late '80s. You know, he did Big Trouble in Little China. That was a studio picture. But something I think he got very disillusioned by that point, and then he went back to low like indie filmmaking, and he did Prince of Darkness and They Live, In the Mouth of Madness. Like those were more like indie level productions. They weren't, it's not like a Warner Brothers 20th Century Fox thing. Not definitely not on that level. However, I don't know if you've seen the film Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Like that was that was a like a studio picture. It was Warner Brothers. It was a director for hire situation. Same thing with Village of the Damned. John Carpenter directed that. I mean, it was just studio for hire or director for hire. At that point, he was vetted enough and just filled the role. I love Big Trouble in Little China. It's Big Trouble in Little China is uh is great, even though it's like it's wacky and zany and it's kind of making fun of the martial art pictures that came from what's the name of that studio that made a bunch of them. I can't remember the name. Yeah, no, it's great. Big Trouble is one of his best movies. Like top tier Carpenter in my view is um obviously The Thing and Halloween, but also Big Trouble in Little China, In the Mouth of Madness, They Live. Um, what else? Oh yeah, Cigarette Burns, the made-for-television film that he did in the 2000s. That is essential John Carpenter right there, if I ever saw it. Uh, this is a very cozy stream. We got like 8 people in here, which is to be expected. It's a Sunday. I think people are out doing shit. The people in the chat, you guys are like me. No matter what, no matter if it's a holiday or it's a Saturday or Sunday, you're doing your own thing. You're a maverick. You're on your own time. Oh yeah, vampires. I really did like James Wood. Yeah, like he's great in the leading part. I really like the cinematography of the movie. It's like even though they made it in the late '90s, I like it's got a little bit of a like callback to previous decades, you know, previous iterations of the medium of the moving image. Vampires, people don't think it's a good movie, but like, what are they smoking? Like, come on, like, do did they not understand the concept of like of an auteur making a B movie? Like, John Carpenter's not the only person to fucking do that. Have you ever heard of Sam Raimi? You know how he broke out? It was making camp. It was making B movie stuff. He just happened to do it in such a way that was so stylish and funny. That's what made it good. Was him putting his mark on it. Like if you gave Evil Dead to someone else at the time, would it have been as good? Even if they were allotted more money? Ooh, probably not. Probably not. Yeah, so there are there are some promising young people that have made some good motion pictures recently, but they're not like in demand. You know, they're not hot properties. They're not getting jobs all the time. Like one is Damien Chazelle. Like he's younger and he's quite good. Anthony Chen is a I think he's a Chinese or Korean filmmaker. He definitely makes good films. He's only made a few though, and they didn't really make money. Um, there's I forget his name. The guy who made the guy who did like the not a remake but like a reimagining of the story of Zatoichi. Um, there's a South Korean filmmaker that in 2020 or 2021 he did a film called The Swordsman, and it's really kind of similar to what you see in the old Zatoichi swordsman, blind swordsman films. Um, yeah, like that guy's good. He's not geriatric. He's probably like 30 to 40 years old. Uh, but yeah, so many of the great ones are about to die. You know, like Carpenter doesn't even have an interest in making something, and he's getting quite old. Um, Scorsese probably doesn't have much time left. Oliver Stone is old. Um, Wes Craven isn't even alive; he's dead. Um, Wes Anderson is still alive, and he's not geriatric; he's middle aged, but he hasn't really made a good picture in some time. You know, like it's been like the better part of a decade. Like the guys who are still are like big names that have made good pitchers before that are still working. Like they're just kind of riding the wave of their laurels at this point in their career. Like they don't have something to prove. Like they've already stressed the ideas or you know the concepts, the stories that they wanted to really tell. They did that earlier in their careers, and now they're just doing this victory lap, which doesn't really bother me. Like if the movie's watchable and it works, then it's like, yeah, hey, that was neat. Like you still got it, Bucko. But can you really tell me that, like in the case of Wes Anderson, can you really tell me that films like Asteroid City and French Dispatch are anywhere near as good as Rushmore or Grand Budapest Hotel? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, not only did Carpenter booze a lot, I mean, he did use. He definitely used. When they were making The Thing, they were actually filming in a part of somewhere in Canada where laws don't exist. You know, there's no police department, there's no jurisdiction, and he and other people who were there, they various illegal activities happened apparently, but they're all hush hush about it. They've all like made some sort of a pact to not talk about the details. So who knows what happened up in Canada back in 1981 when they were filming The Thing. Which, by the way, the thing, out of all the creature features that have ever been made, um, the thing has some of the best. It's got some of the best scares. It's got some of the best um, cinematography. Some of the best practical effects probably ever done in the history of filmmaking. Like, like seriously, the dog thing. When the dogs are going crazy, and then they realize one of the dogs is has been taken over, and the dog's face, like it just like it opens up, and it's that freakish, um, almost like almost kind of like a flower, but it's like spinning, and it looks like the mouth of a creature or something. It's amazing. Like, the fact that it's all in camera, like holy fuck. What's that guy's name? The special effects artist went on to do some other stuff that was quite good. Rob Bottin, him and Stan Winston did the practical effects, did the creature stuff. Was Kurt Russell involved? Yeah, definitely. Kurt Russell, Dean Cundey, but those cast members, like, yeah, they apparently were, when they weren't filming, like they were goofing off and um, doing something, or a variety of things that would be deemed illegal. Who knows, right? Who knows? I apparently have like 100. I don't even know how it happened, but this channel has 100 subscribers. I'm doing this live stream just for kicks, as a proof of concept. This is me demonstrating how, from here on out, there's not going to really be any more issues with the movie review thing. Those will continue. As for the next one, that'll be sometime the week after next week. The title though, it hasn't been decided yet. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna pick. I mean, there's quite a few titles that are just under discussed. They're outstanding films in just about in every facet. Like, one I want to do is the 2012 remake of Bellamy, starring Robert Pattinson. It's a European production. Um, yeah, that one's quite underrated. I also want to do, I don't know. I kind of want to do the film Irreversible, directed by Gaspar Noé. Um, I kind of want to do the film Existence by Cronenberg. Um, what else? Really wanted, I mean, even though it's kind of a respected film, and like Criterion has highlighted it, the 1997 film Cure, directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, is pretty pretty awesome. Like some cinephile YouTube channels have talked about it pretty competently. Um, Still kind of worth a discussion. It wouldn't really be a case of beating a dead horse. Yeah, out of the 110 or something, 115 subscribers, got nine people up in here. It just shows how the subscriber base are a bunch of fake cells. Just kidding. No, I don't care what people want to do with their lives at this point in time. Yeah, like cat's out of the bag. If you've got things to do on Sunday, then by all means, see to it. All right. However, it is 1 o'clock, and do have to be somewhere soonish. So this little dog and pony sideshow is gonna get packed up soon, imminently. Just letting you know, Bucko. Wyatt Staggs. Oh yeah, I've watched some of his stuff. Um, yeah, Wyatt Staggs seems like he seems like a cool dude. From what I can tell, he's like when he's talking about movies, it's not like how do I say this? Like it's obviously from like a very biased place, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I understand like the scope of his channel or like his reviews are to find what very well could be anti-white subliminal messaging, anti-white symbolism, anti-white gestures that perhaps aren't so obvious and noticeable. I mean, that seems to be his niche. I don't think he's I don't think he really approaches a work the way I do, where is like I don't like I just want I'm willing to screen anything really. Um, there's almost no limit. Um, I'll just meet the filmmakers where they are at and go from there. Whether I personally care for a film or not and would rewatch it is a different question than was it like a competently made movie? Is it effective? Is it an instance of there being a creative spark? Is there some kind of auteur's vision at play? Or is it just something like that's like a conveyor belt product? Because the two things are not the same. Some movies, quote unquote movies, uh, are just conveyor belt products. screen anything? What do you mean by that? Oh, like the way I use the word screen. Yeah, the screen in this instance just means view or watch. You know, when I'm talking about a feature-length film, I like to say I'm going to screen it or I have screened it. That makes it sound like very clinical. That's kind of how I want to be when I'm watching something. Like I really just want to grasp what it is and that sort of thing. Usually after my first viewing, I don't have like a insanely strong opinion and have my mind made up. That's not usually what happens. Plenty of pictures are things that you have to revisit to even remotely grasp. You know, like Lars von Trier's films or the work of Adam Agoyan. Like his stuff is extremely subtle, very layered. Like I don't think there's a single film that he directed that was conceived of by him, like written by him, where it's not the case. Like all of his stuff, like speaking parts, family viewing, Felicia's Journey, Guest of Honor, Seven Veils, Exotica, Sweet Hereafter, um, The Captive. Like those are films that you would probably have to watch 3 or 4 times for it to really hit like a truck. And trust me, his films when they do hit you, they do hit you like a truck. Uh, any movies about pot smoking hippie anthro okami wolves that fall in love with fat bat? Yeah, yeah, Wolf. You can make such a motion picture through AI. Haven't you heard? People can now make quote unquote movies with Gen AI models. Not any good ones. It's not going to be a. It's not going to be the next Citizen Kane. It's not going to be the next Godfather. It's not going to be the next, John Ford Western. I'll probably. I mean, let's see. It's 1:20 where I am. I'm probably gonna go in. I don't know, 10 minutes. You be warned. What plans do you people have for the rest of the day? Just sitting there on your computer, doing whatever it is you're doing. Well, Wolf, if you're kind of tired, then you should rest. If that's what the body is asking for. Has anyone ever seen the black and white experimental motion picture called A Man with a Movie Camera by chance? Probably not, I'm assuming. I don't know if he's going to stream tonight. He was supposed to stream last night, Oversphere. Thought he was going to, but whatever. It's not like the Goyim. It's not like you owe the Goyim anything, right? I wonder if I should. Wonder if I should. I don't know. Play some kind of farewell song. Let's see. I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that actually. Here we go.